And this is going to New Zealand, of all places.
New Zealand?
Not to China, not to, you know, Afghanistan or Iran or something like that.
I don't know, fact check, I don't know if we can we say New Zealand isn't China? Jacinto Ardern?
Gotta be careful.
Has she sold out yet?
She's got a disinformation board that might come up to you.
It does too. Welcome home, brother.
Back from New Zealand.
How was it?
Look, it was a very short trip, and that's not the way I expected it to be. But for the time that I was there covering the protest, it was good. It was good to be there, and totally different experience being in New Zealand compared to Australia.
Have you been there before?
No, it's my first time there.
Was it what you expected?
No. In many ways it wasn't. But the country itself is kind of what I expected, yes. Not the people.
What was different?
The people weren't as happy as I was led to believe. Because I thought I'd meet a lot more happy people and happy-go-lucky Kiwis. Because that's the way it's portrayed in Australia.
Nah.
No.
So you cut it short. You covered the protest. We got all the lives. But then you left early. Why?
Look, it was... Obviously, you weren't there.
That is a good reason to leave the country.
That is a good reason to leave the country, but that was more so... That really cut into the work that we were planning to do there throughout the week. So the way that, you know, it wasn't just about the protests. We were going there to talk to Kiwis, talk to New Zealanders about a whole range of issues. And, you know, without the whole team there, it wasn't, you know, able to fulfill that in that manner.
Yeah.
And then also, you know, there was a bit of... I don't want to call it fear, but there was a feeling inside of me that something didn't feel quite right.
Yeah, where did that come from?
More so around the fact that we were getting little bits of information regarding how the police were behaving potentially before I got to New Zealand. And I wasn't sure how that was going to play out, so I thought it's just better I just leave the country early.
For those that missed it, what was your experience just even getting to the airport and checking in?
Yeah, look, getting to the airport, I thought... Because I had already seen what had happened to you a few hours earlier. So I had that going in that something could potentially happen. But then again, I thought, look, I've never done anything. I have like a, you know, clean slate, right? And I walked up to the counter at the Qantas check-in, and, you know, she just went to swipe my passport, this lovely young Qantas staff person. And she just swiped it, and she looked at the screen for a bit.
Confused.
Confused.
That's what I had.
She was so confused. And then she looked up at me, and then she just swiped my passport again. And then she did it one more time. She did it 3 times, she swiped it. And then she's like, I've never seen this before. I've never seen this before. And I asked her, is everything okay? Because I didn't want to make it like, oh, this has happened earlier. I didn't say anything. I just left it how it was. And then she's like, I haven't seen this. And then after a while, she went off and spoke to her supervisors. And that whole process took about 30 to 40 minutes, where they were just all confused. Because they were like, we've not seen a block like this on an Australian national's passport.
So for people that don't know this, so it was a block saying, don't let him on the plane?
Pretty much, yeah. At the point of checking, not even at customs, where they do
that's
passport control.
Yeah.
So obviously these are these new smart passports that we have, and they have these systems that they can do.
Smart, it's so smart. It targeted 2 people of colour.
Well, there you go.
Jacinto, I'm not saying you're a racist, but the facts speak for themselves.
Well, yes. So I was profiled at the airport counter, and luckily the Qantas staff did persist, because they couldn't figure out, everything was good on their end. They couldn't figure out what New Zealand immigration was saying was the issue on their end. So they kept going, and I think New Zealand immigration just gave in. I think the hope was that I would potentially give up, or the staff would give up, and then not board the flight. Because I was lucky that I got the staff member that I got. Because if it was someone else in that peak rush hour time, they might have said, no, you're not allowed to board the flight. You can talk to immigration. But they actually persisted and helped me board the flight.
So you got in, luckily. Well, I think, honestly, looking at it from the outside, I think it's a mix of a few things. One is, at the time, there was a lot of noise happening around the fact that I'd just been banned, and there was thousands signing that petition. 2, you've never got yourself a summary conviction, even though that can't stop you. They didn't have anything that would make an easy headline, because that's all it is. It was an easy headline. Have you Yemini banned because of conviction?
That's correct,
previous conviction.
I believe, like, it would have been very hard for them to explain if they actually went ahead with it.
Well, I think they realised they had to explain at this point. Yes. It would have been interesting if we went together.
Yeah.
At first.
That potentially saved me.
Yeah, staying away. Distance from other Yemini saved you. Yeah. I think you've probably been told that for a long time.
Yes.
Distance yourself from Avi.
Well, a lot of the comments that I got online was that, oh, well, this is what happens when you hang out with RV Yemini. You can't travel overseas. Like, you just got to live with it.
I've never been blocked.
This is the consequences, Rukshan. This is, we told you this. Come over to our side. This is what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. You know, we did do Davos together. We didn't have a problem.
Yeah, look, I've been to lots of different parts of the world, and
Well, no, I mean with RV Yemini.
with RV, yeah, exactly. But just in general, just like my whole experience, boarding the flight was weird.
Yeah.
And then just my whole time on the way to New Zealand, I wasn't sure what was going to happen to me.
Yeah.
And that was really the first time that I've ever felt like, like this kind of outcast that was going to be detained at the airport, or what would happen to me at customs. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I never had that feeling. And this is going to New Zealand, of all places.
New Zealand.
Not to China, not to, Afghanistan or Iran or something like
I don't know if fact check. I don't know if we can we say New Zealand isn't China? Jacinta Ardern.
Gotta be careful.
Has she sold out yet?
She's got a disinformation board that might come after you.
She does too. So yeah, it was cut short, and you were talking to me about it as well, and we said, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm going to go back. We've started a campaign. We're going to we're crowdfunding my legal defence as we do, and we're going to fight them in court. We're going to get that visa. At the end of the day, they don't actually have a legal leg to stand on to stop me as an Australian with a summary conviction. For those of you who don't understand what that is, it is the lowest bar. COVID-19. Do you know COVID-19? Many of the COVID-19 breaching the COVID-19 restrictions. A lot of those have higher penalty units than the conviction that they claim that they kicked me out of the country.
Yeah.
Just to put it into perspective for
course.
those of you that follow Twitter too much. So I'm going to go back. And if you can make it, you'll come with me. But we're going to finish what we had an epic week planned.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it. And in fact, I think now a lot more people in New Zealand happen to know.
Oh, look, the people in New Zealand, they want to talk. And look, of course, I was at the protest, and people at the protest, they definitely want to talk. And they have issues against the government and so on.
Yeah.
That's standard. But in my short time there, I was able to meet other people in the community, and even they have stories to tell. People in New Zealand genuinely want to express what they're going through.
Yeah.
And they truly don't feel like their media, I'm talking about their state media, for instance, the mainstream media in New Zealand, are representing those views to internally and within New Zealand, and also to the rest of the world. So to have a journalist like yourself head over to New Zealand, actually give these people a platform to be able to speak and share those stories, I think it's very important. And any government that thinks they're doing the right thing and there's no issues, they should be open arms to welcome in people to critique them, because that's a part of living in a liberal democracy like New Zealand or Australia.
And I can promise you guys, ladies and gentlemen, our friends from New Zealand, those of you that did meet Rukshan and those that didn't, I'll be back and I will give you that platform, and we will travel the country and run all those stories and probably many more now that, thanks to the Jacinta Ardern government, I've got a much bigger base there who want us to come there, and there might be a fight ahead of us to get there, but have I ever given up on these fights before?
No. This is right down RV's alley.
I will fight, and I'll take you along for the journey. SaveRVYemini.com. You can actually, if you haven't, sign the petition. I will hopefully hand deliver it at some point. And donate to our legal fund there. That way that we are going to fight. I'm expecting any day now the advice from our barrister, which is going to tell us what are our options, where our case is, what case we have, and what the best way to get there as fast as possible, and who we can hold accountable. So many questions to be answered. But thank you, Rukshan. I know, when I asked you to come to New Zealand, you said yes straight away. So I appreciate it. I'm sorry that I left you there. I left you there alone with one other person, and I know he's probably watching this right now. He's not a pleasant person, is he?
No comment.
SaveRVYemini.com. Sign the petition and support our fight coming up. We will be back, or at least I will. I don't know if Rukshan might be a bit triggered. He might need some counselling after this last trip. Would you do any other trips with me?
I'd consider it, yeah. No, I'm joking. Of course I would. How dare these guys?
That episode of Homer Simpson where you touch, that's what Rhonda always says about me.
Yeah.
You don't learn.
Yeah, exactly. I should know better.
All right, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, share it far and wide, because nobody likes sharing Rukshan's stuff. So feel bad, do it. This is charity. That was
yeah,
fun.
that's good. Yeah, fair enough.
But most importantly, head over to saveavyemini.com, sign the petition, share it again, and if you're willing your aid, will help us fight back, because we're never going to let them win. We are going to fight on with your help. Saveavyemini.com. But share it, seriously. Rukshan's been triggered enough this week.